We are live.
All right, let me just get that so we get that. Okay. I would like to open this meeting for the Nottingham Board of Selectmen for January 25th. We will first start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand. I pledge
I
allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, there's the agenda. Excuse me. Did everybody get to look at the payroll?
Yep.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable manifest of January 25, 2021, and the payroll manifest of January 26, 2021.
Second.
We got a second. Thank you. All approved? Roll call.
I, Donna Danis.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moore. Did everybody get to look at the minutes from the last meeting for, I believe that meeting was the 12th, right?
111.
11.
Sorry, my bad on the date. Oh, yeah, it's right there in front of me. Sorry. Was there any questions on it or anything? No?
I didn't have anything to add or change.
I didn't either.
I'll make a motion to accept the 111 2021 minutes as written.
We have
Second.
a motion. Thank you. Second. All in favor, roll call.
I, Donna Danis.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moore. Committee and reports. We had our last budget meeting, so now we're all just basically waiting for the deliberation hearing coming. And I'd like to say when we went over the town one, that was the last one we had. Thank you very much, Chris. That was an excellent job. It went very smoothly and easily compared to the long one we had the night before. So right now we're basically done with the budget. So I have nothing else to really report. Planning
Planning board, we met on January 14th, and they had still had the public hearing open on the proposed zoning changes and the amendment to Article 3 with the wetland conservation areas. That all went well. And we also had a case 21-001-LLA, and that was from Peter Landry on the behalf of owners Matthew R. and Shannon Curry and George and Cheryl Robinson, requesting a lot line adjustment to enlarge map 23 lot 13 sublot 2 by conveying 11.357 acres from map 23 lot 13. These properties are located at 14 and 16 Fisher Road in Nottingham. And after some discussion, there was a motion made to approve the case with the following conditions. One, include the zoning designations of parcels, include minimum lot area, frontages, and setback dimensions, clarify both driveway assessment and utility assessment, add setback limits to the plan set, addresses of applicants as indicated in checklist, and add note to plan to address the previously shown reversed for further roadway area.
what was there about that island?
The island, I don't know, no one seems to know who owns it.
Okay.
Gilligan's.
Yeah, exactly, right? While you're there, is there anything on the CIP, Tyler? I mean, the 300th, Tyler?
Steve's here. He'll have it.
Okay. Well, hold on, Steve. We'll go Donnie of CIP.
Oh, I do.
Oh, sorry, Tony.
That's okay. So we met last week. It's been kind of hard to get the whole committee together because there's been a rush of meetings lately, all on the same nights. So, but last week, Kathy Brosnan from the school board, she reviewed the school material, and so then we moved on to basically, we're at the point of drafted this past week. I've been writing the draft of the material to put in the town report, and we're going to meet tomorrow night to review that, approve it, make sure everything's correct. And once that's done, once it's approved, it'll be basically ready to go in the town report. And I think that should be the end of the CIP season. That's all I got.
Cool. Steve, you want to say anything about the 300?
Yeah, so we met and we're finalizing the calendar for 2022, and we're planning and thinking towards a series of Zoom lectures giving kind of the history of things like the geology of the area with our fantastic mountains in the state park and the lake, and another one might deal with the loons. So that's one of the ways we want to, as the 300, continue to show the flag on certain events.
Steve, that was a question brought up since you're here. I'm going to put you on the spot if you don't mind, about at the budget committee about the expenditure of how much money this 300th has right now. And do you think you will have enough, or are you going to be short? Will the town get any money back? I think
this is probably, I'm getting over my pay grade in terms of commenting on it, but I know that can you tell me how much money has the town set aside, and then their brilliance in putting aside these years?
I don't have that actually in front of me. So that's something I'd have to ask later, because it was more for the question because we're asking for another, is it 5,000 on the warrant article or 10?
It's 5,000 on the warrant article, and thank the board for their approval, a recommendation for that. I know that we're working towards, at the last meeting, trying to figure out a budget for every one of the items of the things we plan to do in 2022, and I think that may answer your question.
Well, there's just some people that thought it was an expensive part, but I'm for it, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can do it correctly. It's a really a historic moment for the town, and we want to do it right.
I'm with you. I think it's a great idea. And then
Thank you,
Donna Marston. We know the signs.
Well, yeah, thank you for bringing that to my attention, Steve. We are, now that the holidays are behind us, we are getting ready to revamp the volunteer team. And in fact, we're meeting tomorrow night. So our first priority is going to be on what we can do for coverage of backstops and side fencing, which is really kind of a safety issue for the kids. So that's our primary focus. Anybody who has time and talent who wants to participate in the committee should let Courtney know about it. Or anybody who's got a big check that wants to donate. Come on, Steve, I know you have it.
I gave it the office.
All right, we're now Chris, the administrator's report.
Just a couple things for you. The deadline to file for elected office is Friday. Town clerk's got office hours every day this week, including that Friday. There's a late window, 3 to 5 on Friday. There's a list on the website of positions that are open and up for election. And go to the town clerk's office to sign up for that. And also the town clerk is about to make new office hours. Everything's still by appointment, but we'll be changing the schedule next week. The board talked with her about that a month or so ago. We will display those hours at the end of the week so we don't confuse anybody this week. But everything's still appointment based. There was hours each of the 5 weekdays starting next week. And I think that's all I have for you.
Okay. Action items review from last. I can't scroll down on this, so.
I have tax deeding properties.
Which we will be bringing that up and coming up. Do everybody get to look at this stuff for, that intent to cut for assessing?
Yep.
Do we want to make a motion on that and then do a quick conversation on the 2 other abatements? I'm not sure how to go on this one, but I know we have to make a decision on all 3. So we can basically say if you guys agree or disagree or, deny the application for, map 17, lot 25 and map 43, lot 1.
So the first one is on the billing. Chris, do we need a motion on the billing? The one?
Yeah, if you just, vote to approve that, that'd be fine.
Yeah, okay.
If you're comfortable with it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we vote to approve the report of wood or timber cut from map 45, lot 8-6, lot 8-6.
Second.
Got a motion to second, roll call?
I, Donna Dennis.
I, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moran. Looking for a motion on the next abatement.
So there were 2, and I'll make a motion. If it's okay, I'll combine them.
Sure.
I make a motion that the select board deny the abatement request for map 17, lot 25, and for map 43, lot 1.
We have a motion and a second. I mean, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it for purposes of discussion. Are these the ones that we discussed at our last meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure they weren't new ones.
No.
Okay.
Does the board have any other discussion on this? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. We call for a roll call vote.
I, Donna Dennis.
I, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moran. Okay. Chris, where do you want to go with the town meeting plans? Are we still waiting to hear about the school, or
Yeah, if we could,
want to jump on to file the?
we're gonna, if you could skip ahead to C and D on the agenda. We're kind of stalling for time, so.
Oh, we can't approve. We can't do that one until we know of a date, right? Right. Okay, I got you.
Correct.
So the appointment for the emergency management director from previous discussions, we were looking at Chief Vilcek. If that's still the same, correct?
From my perspective, yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Right. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Another discussion didn't happen, which went. So are we just looking for a official vote and approval? Do we know if Chief will accept it?
Yes, he will.
Okay.
All right. I'll make the motion that the select board approve the appointment of Fire Chief Jay Vilchok as emergency management director.
Second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. We got a vote.
I, Donna Dennis.
I, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moran. Tax deed waivers.
Let me do a quick recap.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that?
Nothing, I was just going back to look, but yeah, if you help me.
Okay. So this is the last step in the process that you've been touching on every couple of meetings for a few months now. You started seeing this list following your policy on tax deed waivers. We have come to a list of deeds to waive. The step that you have to take at this point is to waive those tax deedings in order to stop the tax collector from taking those properties, and her deadline to do that is this week. We have conducted a couple of environmental assessments on properties that we thought you might be tax deeding. This process has flushed out some people that had been behind. So if they pay their taxes from tax year 2017 at this point, if they're current through 2017, they're not eligible for deeding anymore. So a number of properties have fallen off the list as we go through this process, fallen off by way of paying their taxes. Everything that's left here is recommended for deed waiver. These are properties that either don't really owe that much or we don't want them for some reason or another. Anything not on this list and on the original list from the tax collector would be deeded, and that is now down to just one parcel. One of the two that we had 2 weeks ago came in yesterday and got caught up, or maybe even this morning. Today's Monday. So just recently got caught up. So we're down to one small vacant parcel that will be tax deeded if you follow the motion that's laid out for you. Everything else is caught up or not something that you're interested in owning at this point.
Do you have the map and lot for the one that remains?
The one that remains that will be tax deeded is easy to remember. It's map 1, lot 1.
Okay.
Is a little half-acre triangle on the side of a hill on Route 202.
Oh, yes. Okay. And that's the one we're not going to waive.
Correct. You can if you wish, but that's not where our process and your policy would lead us.
Right. And all the others are caught up?
They're either caught up or they qualify for waiver by your policy.
Right.
You want the motion?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'd like to make the motion, Board of Selectmen waive the deeds and notify the tax collector that they will not accept the tax collector's deeds on any of the following properties pursuant NHRSA 80, semicolon 38, map 1, lot 2, map 1, lot 3, map 1, lot 12, map 20, lot 7 and 8, map 23, 2-18. Is that 2 through 18? Or is it just 2-18?
2-18.
Okay.
It's a sublot number, so they're all.
Okay.
It's a single lot. Yeah.
Map 23, 2-50. Map 23, 2-100. Map 23, 2-105. Map 23, 2-112. Map 23, 2-143. Map 24, lot 103. Map 37, lot 25-4. And map 52, lot 13. And map 68, lot 110.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have we need a roll call?
I, Donna Danis.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moore. So Did we just all hang out? Anything else anybody want to talk about?
Well, I can give you a little background.
We read the stuff today in the other, I mean, do we want to talk about that, even though we're kind of waiting to see what the school says, or?
It's up to you.
Let's talk about Tom Brady.
Can't vote, you can't, I mean, you can't bet against the guy.
No, that is a true statement.
Oh, wait a minute. I just got a text. Donna, did you get a text?
I did not. It's okay.
Okay. John, I think we're almost ready. I am communicating with somebody from the school board. I'm not sure who.
So just, I mean, let's give it a little bit of a background.
Yeah.
There's been some discussions between the school board and Chris. We're trying to figure out what the right thing to do is in terms of timing for deliberative session and town meeting in light of the pandemic, right? And the law gives us some flexibility in rescheduling town meeting or an emergency order, I think. And Chris can correct me if I'm not using the right terminology, but it gives us some flexibility in terms of delaying and scheduling because of the pandemic. However, there are guidelines that specify the amount of time that can go, that is allowed to pass between a deliberative session and the town meeting day. What we've been trying to coordinate with the school board is what's the right timing in light of, weather, right? In trying to make sure that we provide adequate safety for attendees and staff working the election. And how do we handle and manage indoor and potentially outdoor seating to make it safe? And how do we best accommodate voters by, do we have one deliberative session versus two deliberative sessions? So I have to say, this is my 7th year on this board, and I have to say that this experience that we're going through now is, one of the greatest times of cooperation and collaboration and trying to do the right thing between the select board and the school board. So the school board has been meeting tonight and trying to settle on, dates that work for them for voting, for town voting, and for the deliberative session. And I got to be honest with you, we have explored every potential combination of options, all of which have many reasons not to do it that way, right? There's no good, eloquent, ideal way to handle a deliberative session and town meeting in a pandemic. So what we've done is try to come up with the best possible solution. And so I don't know, Chris, if you want me to just go ahead or if you want to chime in.
Yeah, so we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and the guiding principles were to hold an in-person deliberative session. Don't do a Zoom remote session. Don't do that remote. Don't do that in-person deliberative session now due to the pandemic, and do everything we possibly could to hold the elections and the voting on the same day as the school board. Those were the 3 key things that we left the last discussion with, and where we are right now, we can do those 3 things. The plan that seems to work for both school and town boards is deliberative session on April 17th, which is a Saturday, school first on that Saturday, followed by the town. all in one day at the school, probably some combination of indoor and outdoor meeting space that we haven't figured out yet. And second voting day for both town and school on June 8th. That's a Tuesday at the school. The school has agreed to carve out the school building for use as a polling place on that day, even though it's in the last week of school.
Chris, did you say April and a voting day in June?
Yes.
That's not too far apart?
It is not. They can be as much as 60 days apart. The ideal deliberative session for us would have been a little bit later, would have been May, early May. We could have had a date in May that we would have been able to produce ballots and do all the mechanics. But the school board was concerned about doing it on school vacation week. So in an effort to set up the facility for this meeting, whatever this is, once we've tried to stick with doing them together. So that's where we sit. We can break away and do your own thing on any number of dates. But if we're going to do it with the school, those seem to be the dates that work. Donna and Tony were both in on some of the chatter over the weekend and today, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first, Tony, and then you can go. I think it's just there's no ideal situation, right? And I think that that this works out well in terms of timing. The school board was concerned about, timing around school vacation. I think, the idea of having them both on one day, I think it works, particularly if we, schedule school board in the morning and then the town in the afternoon. So I just, like I said, there was no ideal option, but I support this one fully.
The biggest downside for this package of things is probably that it's going to be challenging to get a good indoor outdoor combination of meeting space in the middle of April. It's, weather-wise, it's not great. That's the downside there.
Not February.
Yep.
So yeah, just to dovetail into what Donna was saying, it's we're the choices we have is basically trying to pick the least of all evils, because none of the options are ideal, and it's the objective is to find what inconveniences the most people the least amount. So. But I think the options that we have are workable. So hopefully we'll hear from the school board in the next few minutes, and we'll know if they're on board.
They have. We got word from them that the 17th was their preferred date for deliberative, and that we can use the school building for election day. That was the piece we were waiting on this evening.
Just to answer the question in the chat, yeah, the delay has been decided, because if we didn't delay, that would put deliberative in February and town meeting in March. And we all felt that was a little too risky, too early in timing, given where we are with the pandemic. So the question that we've been going back and forth with folks on is, what's the timing of the delay?
And we could definitely see a good turnout because of what's on the ballot for the school. So
it could go either way, John, right? Because we're SB2 now, right?
We get a lot of write-ins, but
well, I would encourage that. That is one thing that we did talk about, is that mail-in voting is still a really good option. So given, the town meeting and if people are still concerned about that time, they can do mail-in ballots for town meeting. There's plenty of time for that.
That's what I'm saying. There could be a good, there could be a good turnout for town meeting, voting day, however you want to call it. But,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah.
Just so people can, if they don't know, town meeting is voting day. So,
Correct, yes.
hey, if the board's, to me, this was not a concern for me for whatever day that we did. So, if you guys agree with it, I'll be more than happy to go with the dates that are said. I don't see any problem with that.
So Chris, you just got word that they voted to do that date with us?
Yes, you both started your meetings at the same time.
Yeah.
And I believe this is Carol writing to me. I'm getting my cell phone numbers mixed up.
I think it's Carol as well.
Pardon?
I think it's Carol. I believe it's Carol.
Yeah. School board decided to agree to June 8 vote date and will hold deliberative session on April 17th. We would like to share the deliberative day with the town, but understand if you don't opt for that day, and we can hold both at the school. So those two questions were what we were waiting for the school board to decide so that you could decide if you wanted to stay in sync with them.
Yeah, so I'll just say to the rest of the board that Donna and I, we sat in on the conversations, and like Donna said, we worked out every possible permutation, every combination of days that would that had a chance of being successful. So this was one of our last options that worked. So I would recommend that we go with this rather than starting going back to square one, because we have until midnight to post this warrant, and I don't think we'll get it done if we have to pick a new date.
Again, I think we got 3 votes. Tyler, you want to weigh in?
No, I'm good.
Guess we all know where we stand on that.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll get the language for the motion here.
So just let me.
Well, do we have to? Are we going to change it and put it on the town meeting plans, and then don't we finalize that tonight, and that's going to be the date, or do we have to vote on changing it?
Well, we're not changing it from a previously established date. I mean, we agreed to postpone previously.
Right.
And then we're working with the school board to establish a common date, for the efficiencies that provides, both boards. So,
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I would add is that this year, this is unusual circumstances, right? This doesn't mean that we're setting a precedent for years to follow. Hopefully there'll, knock on wood, be no pandemic that we're dealing with next year. So it is just kind of, we're trying to deal with this year. I do think, John, that I know that Dee and Bonnie are on the call, and we should give them a minute or so to kind of weigh in on this decision, because it hasn't been easy for them either, and it's not going to be easy for them, which no matter which way we go with this, it's going to impact them. So I do think we should give them a minute or two to weigh in.
agreed. Who wants to go first, Bonnie?
Sure. You hear me? Am I turned on?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for switching from the town community room to the school. I think that was an imperative change from yesterday's thinking, and I'm very grateful for it. I don't think there's any way we could have conducted the election in the town hall room in the times of COVID. need too much space and we need too much extra staff. The other, obviously, you know from my communications today that the April 17th vote to me is too early in terms of picking a time when the virus has calmed down a little bit. From all the CDC information, it's still going to be high. That's a 2-week period right after another major holiday, Easter and Passover. But I'm sure we can work something out. I have a concern about the safety of the staff. You people are there for one of the meetings and we're there for both of them. So we're going to be in that room all day with no ventilation, which is a concern. I hope that maybe Chris can work out some way to blow the air out of there between the two meetings. Maybe you could come up with some extra protection for the officers that have to be there, which are, you people are not required to be at school deliberatives. I don't recall ever seeing any of you at the deliberative session in the last few years. So maybe John was there.
But I mean, I understand what your point is. Yeah, I mean,
My point is,
days can also determine what, if the doors can be open. If it's nice out, it could be a nice 60-degree day.
If it's not nice out, the air doesn't change, and who's ever been in there breathing, as long as they're healthy, that's fine, but we have no way of knowing that.
Exactly. I'm just saying the doors are open. I was just mentioning that.
So the danger to the staff is larger than it would be a month later or even 2 weeks later in May if we could have windows and doors open and an outside component. And maybe it'll be a nice day in April, but it's unlikely. I know that I once got married and it was right around that time and it was a miserably cold day. And every year in April, usually it doesn't settle down weather-wise till the end of the month. I'm a great tomato grower, and once I did plant tomatoes around the 15th of April, but that was a very unusually warm year. So I have a little concern about that, but I think it's doable with some kind of extra thought for the protection of the people who have to be there all day. It's more dangerous to have a meeting than to have an election. In an election, people come and leave within usually 10 or 15 minutes. In a meeting, they're there for a few hours breathing. So that's my only concern. That's my major concern. And if the select board can do some of the work to help mitigate that danger, that would be appreciated. Otherwise, I think we should also switch ballot clerk crews so that those people aren't there all day. Most of our election workers are in the high-risk group. And they will have to check in voters. They're not going to be the same meeting, as you know. There'll be 2 separate meetings and they will begin and end. So voters will have to be checked in again for the second meeting. Even if people elect to stay, which I hope we have some mechanism of clearing them out and cleaning the air out. I don't know, Chris, could you work on that?
Yep.
So Bonnie, there's certainly some details to be worked out. We understand the complexities of it. And I'll speak on behalf of myself. As a select board member, I certainly don't have to be there for the school board if I choose not to, but I will commit to being there if there's something that I can do to help, protect and support for the safety of the workers. So, I think rest assured the select board is going to do everything that we can to make it as smooth and safe as possible for everyone.
We'll appreciate that. And Dee may have some other suggestions for safety because she did all of that, paying attention to all of that in our summer meetings. We had a lot of trainings with, state people. So we're kind of up on it, and I watch the CDC recommendations, and this is of course against all of the public safety recommendations. Well, not all of them, but most of them. Wear masks, wash your hands, don't gather in large groups. Keep your exposure time to minimum, which this does not do because it's hours of meetings, and basically stay home. So if we can help mitigate some of that exposure, that would be good. Right now, I don't know what that mitigation would be, but it would be nice to have that started before we're in April. Do you know what I'm saying? have some kind of reassurance about that. I know there are vaccinations coming up, but they're not going to protect. Right now, I do qualify and I have signed up for a vaccination, but my first one is in April. Who knows when the second one will be? So I doubt I will have immunity by the 17th, and I think the kind of immunity we get is questionable anyway. They don't really know, and there's new strains of it showing up in England and other places, which have a lot of people here concerned. But anyway, those are my comments tonight. Thank you. One other thing, though, I want you to stop calling the election town meeting because it will confuse people. Town meeting is what we used to have in Nottingham, and we have switched to SB2 deliberative session. And we can, if we call the town elections, I think that will be clearer to the people. Even though the deliberative is a kind of meeting, it's not town meeting. It's a deliberative session. It has different, the citizens have different powers in the deliberative than they have at town meeting. Anyway, Dee, I'll yield to you.
Thanks, Bonnie. I would also like to say thank you to the school board for making it so that we can use the school for the both the deliberative session and the election. It will certainly help us with the things that we need to do. The current mask policy by the state runs out in the middle of March. We do not know whether the governor will continue it, but I would certainly hope for the for these two sessions that we can have a mask policy for anyone in the building, because that will be one of the key things to keeping everyone, staff and our residents as safe as possible. So that would be the one thing that I would request from the school board and the select board, is that we have a mask policy for anyone in the building during the deliberative sessions and the election itself. And I'd also like to thank Chris for really kind of spearheading the idea of having both on the same day. It will greatly help the staff to only have to do things once and have everything set up on one day and everything. And so I think that while it may be a long day, it's not going to be like town meeting because it's a deliberative session, not a town meeting. So it should be quite a bit shorter. The only thing that I will add is that we are required to do the purge in June. And I'm not exactly sure how purging the checklist and running the checklist for an active election simultaneously is going to work. However, that is something that I am going to need to work out with the state. And I kind of just wanted you guys to be aware that we're going to be needing to do that. So other than that, I think that as Donna said, we're doing the best we can in, difficult times. And we spent a lot of time, working on this, and it's not ideal, but we'll make it work.
Any more comments? Okay, seeing none.
All right, then in that case, we got two motions to make here. First one, make a motion that pursuant to the New Hampshire Governor's Executive Order 83, the Select Board will hereby postpone the official ballot voting day in the deliberative session for town meeting 2021. This action is taken due to the concerns for conducting meetings during the COVID-19 pandemic. The deliberative session shall be held April 17th, is that right?
Yep.
Correct.
2021, and the official voting day shall be held June 8th, 2021.
I'll second.
Thank you, Donna. Motion in a second. Roll call.
Aye, Donna Danis.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eden.
Hi, John Moore.
Okay, and do we need to review the warrant, the actual town warrant, before we vote on it?
Yeah, not having the piece that you just approved final, obviously we couldn't finalize the warrant because the warrant is the official notice to the voters of when and where to go to participate. So
Okay.
I have just emailed you a revised opening to the warrant, which reflects your decision to hold the session on the 17th. We need to post this document today, so there's nothing much left to do other than approve it. The warrants, the articles that'll be voted on haven't changed at all since the last time you saw it. This is the exact same language that went to the Budget Committee. The only thing that's been in flux is those first two paragraphs announcing the location and the date of the meeting, and a short explanation of why the meeting is not happening when it usually does. So if you look at your email, you've got a version of that. Tony, if you can share your screen with it, then you'll all be looking at the same thing.
It is. Can you see it?
Yes.
And this is, these are the paragraphs that we needed to finalize tonight. Right, the highlighted ones?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So in that case, I'll make a motion that the select board approve the 2021 town meeting warrant as presented and authorizes its posting with electronic signatures as of today, January 25th, 2021.
A town deliberative session, a town meeting.
Well, this is the town meeting warrant.
Okay.
Okay, so which indicates that the
Indicates first,
that
second,
our
second.
deliberative session, the town's deliberative session, immediately follows the close of the school deliberative session on April 17th. And then the voting day itself, which is the second session of town meeting, will be on June 8th.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Hi, Donna Danis.
I, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moore.
All right, the warrant is approved.
Tony, can you
Sounds
forward
fair.
me these motions that you made as well?
Yes.
Don, can I ask a question?
Yes, go for it, Bonnie.
So I noticed that Tony said immediately following the town meeting. I mean, immediately following the school deliberative, the town deliberative will begin. Can we not have a break to clean out the room and give me and the people running the show? I mean, the budget committee will have to be at both.
Yeah,
But
that language allows for a break. Yes, it doesn't say immediately. It says following. So
I can't see it, but I heard Tony say. Like,
yeah, the word immediate is not there. So.
Okay.
Well, one meeting could go quick and one meeting could go long.
Yeah.
So you can't actually put a time stamp on from like 8 to noon when you don't know how long it's going to.
You see that better now, Bonnie?
Much better. Thank you, Tony.
So the session will commence following the close of the school district deliberative session. So yeah, I mean, having a break, those are just logistic steps that we don't need to include that in the warrant in order to be able to have a break.
I'm fine with that. I just heard the word immediately and
Yeah.
a little freaked out here. Like, what are you, crazy? I might have to
Yeah.
have a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
And breathe through quickly.
Okay.
So, John, if I could I just want to reiterate that this is really unusual circumstances, but I think that, we should feel good about the fact that the school board, the moderator, the supervisors, our board all have worked, hard to try and make the best of the situation and come up with the best solution for, the town, for the voters. And yes, there's pros and cons to everything, but the boards have worked really hard together to try to come up with the right solution.
Yeah, I don't think we could. I mean, I don't think there's a better solution than what we decided on right now. So.
Yeah, actually, I was remiss too, because I also want to thank Chris for all of the work that he's done towards this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things have been changing and balls have been in the air, and Chris has done an amazing job guiding us through all of this.
Yeah, navigating the pandemic as well as our first go as a town, an SB2 town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's, those are rough waters to navigate. So thanks, Chris, for guiding us through this.
It was a good team effort.
Is there any other discussion or anything that anybody in the public would like to bring up?
Hey, John, it's Dee.
Lady,
Can I just make sure that people that are listening know that because we're delaying this, this means that anyone who is currently in office stays in office until we hold a new election.
correct.
So we don't have a lapse in officers in any way. Everything just continues until we have that. That's part of the executive order.
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
Not seeing anybody else with any questions or comments. Chris, we don't have anything for non-public, correct?
I don't have anything for you.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Look at that. We got a motion and we have a second. Roll call.
Aye, Donna Danus.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Hi, Tyler Eaton.
Hi, John Moore. Good night, Nottingham.
Good
Thank you
night.
for all your work.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.